Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't yet, like, subscribe. Make sure you comment in this video. There should be plenty of comments on it. Share. Help the channel out. That is if you like the content. If you don't, thumbs down, discard it, move on about your business. Alright, with all that said, let's get into this.
Your hustle got to be strong in this industry, as in any other industry.
Okay, so I see a lot of questions on the Facebook groups. I've even had it mentioned in some of my comment sections of the videos, asking about leasing a van. Would it be best to lease or rent a van? Now, I'm going to start off with the renting side of things. I'm not as familiar with that. Now, some people, when they say rent, they may be meaning a lease. But I'm going to cover it because I do see people on the Facebook groups, and I actually just seen a video the other day. I can't remember what channel it was. The channel just came across. It's one of those, has to do with making money on different avenues of making money. It just happened to pop up on a suggested video, and one of the, and it was on cargo vans, how to make money with the cargo van, and one of those was renting out your van. I'm not familiar with that. If I'm an individual renting out my van, or if I'm going to rent a van from an individual, first and foremost, I'm going to make sure there's a very thorough contract, because obviously if you take this van from them and say it's not, some of the things that, some of the way it's worded has to do, basically it gives you all the liability and lets them free and clear, and all they do is get to sit back and make money and get their van back and say something's wrong with it, and you're liable. So that's first and foremost on that avenue that comes to mind. Now, secondly, I don't know these individuals, if they rent the van out, is it already prepped for over-the-road expediting, if that's what you're going to rent it for? Are you renting it for local courier stuff or regional stuff that you're going to be home nightly? What all does it come with? What's it equipped with? What are you responsible for? Do you have a business that you're wanting to advertise? Can you put your logos on there? I mean, you can always get magnets, which are removable, so that's always an option. So with renting, I'm not sure what all comes with that, but those are just some of the things that I would, be aware of if I were to, step into that. I don't like the idea of it, just because you're dealing with an individual, and most people can't be trusted, unfortunately. And again, this industry, I've said it before, it's cutthroat, and a lot of the people that you're going to deal with in this are cutthroat, and you need to be mindful of that so that you don't get yourself burned. Too many people want to just go all in with people they meet. They have a nice conversation. Person acts like they want to help them out and build their business and help them get wealthy, and next thing you know, they got taken advantage of. So that's the biggest red flag to me as far as renting. Now, leasing, that's, you're going to go through some like a Penske or Enterprise or whatever it may be. As far as a dealership, I can't even imagine it being anything worth it through a dealership to lease a vehicle. But through these other places, as I mentioned, the Penske and Enterprise and whatnot, I have, inquired about it in the past. And the thing with it, you're paying a set rate as far as like a set amount, like, for the lease itself. Then they're charging you, they're giving you a certain amount of miles. It's almost like the pay-as-you-go, buying minutes for your phone almost. You've got a certain package of miles that you're allowed, and then anything over those miles, it's 10 cents a mile. You can negotiate with them. Like I talked with them, and they had negotiated down to, I think it was like 6 or 7 cents a mile or some shit. But anyhow, so those are things that come into play with that. That's how you're going to do it. And the price-wise, each one that I've found, and I've called the few big ones, and the other part of that real quick is a lot of them don't even have the extended high roof vans. They have high roof, but they don't have extended. They usually have those like 135s, 120s, So, but the cost with your insurance, well, just the lease itself, and well, everything included, it's like having an extremely high van payment, you know, to lease a vehicle, like extremely high. They're like over $1,000 a month van payment, along with $1,000 a month insurance cost, and then on top of that, so that's the first thing. Like, you're gonna have to bust ass just to cover the cost of the lease and everything. Then you obviously got gas and everything else. So on top of that, though, is that when you lease these vehicles, you cannot alter them in any way. Like, you can throw a piece of plywood down there, or you can even do the floor like I do, because I don't mount to the van. You know, I have a subfloor and then a top floor with the E-tracks and all that good stuff. So you can do that. And if you have a way to insulate, like maybe you can tie up some blankets or something. I mean, there might be some ways to finagle some things. Like, my bunk isn't attached to the van either. Like, a lot of the stuff the necessities aren't mounted to the van, so you can get away with those things. But you can't really, as I said, you can't alter. You ain't gonna put a rooftop AC. You ain't gonna put a vent. You're not gonna be able to attach batteries unless you attach the batteries back there and you carry a generator with you and nothing's wired into the van or anything. You can put signage on there, like you can get your logos put on there. They do allow for that, and again, you can do magnets if you choose to. So with the leasing part of it, for me, it's just too costly. Now, I won't lie, like, if I'm ever in a pinch, like, I would go do it. I would make it work until, say my main van is down for a while or something, something to that effect. Like, or maybe I've ordered a van, you've ordered a van and you're trying to get through until your van gets in there. As long as you know what you have set up, like for mine, when I looked into it, and this is the biggest part. This is even buying a van. This part here, know what you're going to do with the van. Like, know where you're going to run it through. Like, where are you getting your loads? Do you have an idea of what type of money you're going to make? Like I did. Like, because I looked into it a couple of different times. Once, when I was probably 5 months into doing this. I was working for a fleet owner, and the van I was in broke down. The transmission went out, and he didn't seem like he was gonna get a van anytime soon. And I didn't have enough experience at that time to know how to go get myself in with another fleet owner. At that time, I wasn't on Facebook. All I did is just talk to people here and there. Like, I didn't know that fleet owners were so plentiful, and I didn't have any idea how to get in touch with them. So my thought process is, how am I going to keep rolling? 'Cause I'm not getting out of this business. Like, that's not happening. That's not an option. Like, I'm rolling. It was options about going to my dad to see if he'd help me with the van, try to get it, whatever I could think of. But one of the options was, okay, Penske or something. And at the time, cargo vans were the main thing out there. So I was just looking for a cargo van, and it was expensive still back then. And that's the route I was going to take. I had looked into it, and the shit was it was crazy expensive. It was crazy, crazy expensive. So I went ahead and, looked at that option, ended up not doing it. Another driver for this fleet owner ended up quitting, and I got that van, and then, the rest is history. But, yeah, the options are there to do it, and that's why I was going to do it. So that was the point I was making. I kind of lost track there for a second. To serve in a pinch, and that's why I was looking into it. I was like, all I need is this to get me through, because I knew, at that point, I already knew that come tax time, I was going to go get my own van. I just needed to have, I had to have proof of income, so I was, getting that built up, trying to, improve my credit as much as I could in that short amount of time, and I knew I was getting a tax return. So that's all I was doing. I was wanting to bide my time until I bought my own van in tax season in February. So that's why I was looking into it. And then just recently, I was, when I say recently, it's been about 2 years, I was looking into it as a possibility for put a driver in, to see if it was, profitable to put a driver in it and do it. Because the thing I do like about the lease, the good parts of the lease, is that, like, basically they take care of everything. Like, you break down, they're getting your replacement vehicle. They're taking care of maintenance. They're taking care of repairs. So all that shit's out of your hair. which is, can be a huge benefit. So that's the biggest benefit to it. Other than that, as I said, it is very expensive to do, and I would only do it short term. And again, have a way to make money. Like, again, at that time, 5 months, I knew that I could, and I talked to the dispatch, the guy that owned the company, like, hey, if I got a leased vehicle, am I going to be able to bring it on here? Is there going to be any issues? They, made sure I took care of all that. I already knew how I was going to make money with it. It wasn't, oh, I'm going to go lease a vehicle, and then, hey, guys, I got myself in this lease. I'm locked into this lease, and now I owe, $2,700 at the end of the month, and can you help me find a load? Don't do that, man. Any questions about that, comment in the comment section. Any of you that's had a good experience leasing or renting a van, and I'm way off on what I'm saying, please, in the comment section, man, enlighten me. One thing I can say, whether anybody believes it or not, like, I don't think I know it all out here. I just give my experiences. I tell you what I've done to get the results that I've gotten. I feel like I do decent. I know I don't do as well as I probably could, but I'm always out to learn. That's like, and I know I'm sidetracking a little bit here, but
in a quarter mile, merge onto US 10 East.
Like, when I hear or see posts of guys saying they make all this money per mile in these vans, honestly, the first thought that comes to my mind is like, push it. Like, that's the first thought that comes to mind. Because for one, almost everyone that says they're making all this big money, they don't ever want to tell you who they're with. And I get it to an extent. People are like, oh man, I'm not going to give it away and have everybody come here. Well, for one, if the company you're with, the carrier you're with, or the broker you're using, like, if they give a shit, like, if they're any worth of shit, they're not going to oversaturate their workload, like they shouldn't be doing that. Like, if they're worth a shit, if you're that worried that they're gonna do that, obviously you don't feel that good about them anyhow. Like, if you're not willing to talk about it, that's my opinion. And I've heard a guy say, like, there's one guy's channel, he says that it's in the contract. I don't know, man. I find that hard to believe that a carrier would not want the advertisement, especially if you're out there, talking positively about their business. That don't make sense. I mean, now if you're out there bashing them and, they're like, hey, if you're gonna, and I get the whole don't talk cities, don't talk businesses that you pick up. Like, I get that part, but I find it extremely hard to believe that a business is not going to want the free advertisement of a happy employee / owner operator / whatever. Like, I just can't buy that. But anyhow, that's what you usually see. These guys don't want to talk about it, and that's why I try to be as open as possible about things. Like, don't get me wrong, there are some things I keep close to the vest, and I don't want to give out because it can, affect me, personally. But for the most part, like, it's free game, man. Like I just want to give out information that, and experiences that I've had that's helped me get to the point I'm at. And if somebody, wants to be where I'm at, they can get they can do it with what I've talked about with my experiences. But yeah, some of these guys that talk about they make all that freaking money, it's ridiculous. So anyhow, I'm gonna shut this video down for now. I think I even lost track of something I was talking about just now. I think I kind of sidestepped it a little too far and couldn't get back to the original path, so forgive me, and I'm out.